Are you thinking about moving to Calgary? Well, you're definitely not alone. Calgary's been a magnet for new residents over the past few years, and for good reason. Today, I'm diving into all the things that make Calgary not just a good place to live, but a fantastic one. From wide open skies and vibrant neighborhoods to an outdoor lifestyle you just can't beat. There is a lot to love about this city. I'm also sharing some of the things that I personally love about Calgary that you probably won't find anywhere else. Now, I'm not saying Calgary's perfect. Far from it. That's why I'm doing something a little different today. I've put together two videos, one that dives into all the reasons Calgary might not be for you, and then there's this one where we're exploring what makes Calgary such a fantastic place to live. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's talk about why so many people are calling this city home. And if you're curious about the flip side, check out my other video to get the full picture. I'm Dawn, and if you're getting any value from my videos, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. There is also a link below where you can book a call with me if you have any questions. I know what you're thinking. Everywhere is getting more expensive, but here in Calgary, your dollar can stretch further, especially compared to Toronto and Vancouver. As of this October 2024, the average monthly food cost for Toronto and Vancouver was $626, and for Calgary, it was only $573 only. And housing is simply more attainable, because I hate to say it, but even with the recent surge in prices, we are priced relatively affordable in comparison. When it comes to job opportunities, Calgary's got it covered. Sure, you've heard of the energy sector, but we're also talking about a growing tech scene, financial services, and even digital media. In fact, Calgary is home to some of the most innovative startups in the country. Now, according to Anne-Marie Lurie, the chief economist with the Calgary Real Estate Board, employment has outpaced what was expected, but we have to apply some caution as the growth has changed a bit from what we're used to. Over the past 2 years, much of the growth was in higher paid sectors. So of the 80,000 jobs that were created in the past 2 years, almost half of them were in professional and technical services. Now, while we're still seeing full-time job growth, a lot in manufacturing, we're now seeing more part-time job growth. And when we look at the top areas of job growth, that's in manufacturing, transportation, warehousing, accommodation, and food, which the transportation, warehousing, accommodation, and food are likely contributing to a lot of that part-time job growth. It's different from the past 2 years, but we're still seeing gains. Now, it is important to note that rising unemployment rates, it's come down a bit from its peak, but they are still quite high. That's in part because our labor force has been growing much more than the jobs being created. So it's important to mention that the unemployment rate is not rising because there has been a lot of job loss. That's a very different scenario than an unemployment rate that's rising because you just have more people active in your employment market. With the surge in population, that's why we're seeing that. So if you are planning to move to Alberta, but more specifically Calgary, try to secure a job before making the move if possible. No provincial sales tax. And while we're talking about it, housing, no land transfer tax either. The sales tax is a small percentage, but it does go a long way to have that extra money on your paycheck and a little less due at the checkout. But land transfer tax, let me tell you, that can be quite significant. You'll save tens of thousands of dollars when buying a home here versus many other provinces. While we can't ignore the fact that it does get cold here in Calgary, we are the sunniest major city, boasting around 2,400 hours of sunlight annually, which can positively impact mood and lifestyle during these colder months. You know, everyone is different, but even on those super cold days, the sun just gives me life. Like standing outside, letting the sun hit your face can make a huge difference, and especially for those that experience seasonal depression. We also benefit from frequent Chinooks, which are warm, dry winds that blow in from the Rocky Mountains. These winds can raise Calgary's temperatures by, get this, 30 degrees Celsius in a matter of hours. So it's wild. But they offer us breaks from the cold weather, which I know this, for myself, I find this improves my mood and energy levels. So moving past the basics, this one is near and dear to my heart, something that really makes Calgary stand out for families like mine, but Alberta in general, is Alberta's Family Support for Children with Disabilities Program, or FSCD. It is a huge asset for families with kids who have special needs. Unlike what you might find in other provinces, FSCD is accessible and flexible, working directly with families to tailor their supports based on individual needs, from therapy and respite care to specialized aids and educational resources. I can tell you as a parent, this makes a world of difference. But with Calgary's recent population boom, securing these services has become more challenging. I know they had to bring on additional caseworkers at FSCD to manage the influx of families needing these services, but I think they've got a lot of that maybe ironed out now. Unfortunately, they did lay off a number of those additional caseworkers, and they transferred those files back to their original assignees. But service providers are also in high demand, and wait lists have grown. Still, knowing these services are designed with flexibility in mind and that they prioritize family-centered care is reassuring. It's one of those things that adds a whole other level of support for families moving to Calgary, helping these kids thrive and giving parents a strong support system. I don't have experience with these programs outside of Alberta, but I've heard from many people that our program is exemplary. If you need a recommendation for a wonderful service provider once you've secured your contract with FSCD, please feel free to reach out. I've learned a lot and met some amazing professionals along the way. And speaking of, one of the best parts about living in Calgary, the people. Calgarians are some of the friendliest folks you'll meet. Like, I know through my kids' school, I've connected with so many wonderful, supportive moms who genuinely go out of their way to help each other out. It's a community that is like warm and welcoming, where neighbors greet you by name, and people are quick to lend a hand if you need it. Calgary is a city of diversity and opportunity. People from all over the world are calling it home, bringing new ideas and cultures. Our international festivals, diverse restaurants, and thriving art scene make the city a truly amazing community to celebrate. Whether you're new to the city or a lifelong resident, that sense of belonging is something special that Calgary really does well. With the exception of my neighbor, he's a jerk. But here's the thing, you're gonna run into jerks everywhere. I just think there are less jerks here from my experience. And if you're craving community, Calgary's got an event nearly every week, from the famous Calgary Stampede to Global Fest fireworks or a quieter night at the National Music Centre. There's kind of always something happening here. Now, I am not a nightlife person, but I was reading on Reddit that someone mentioned there aren't a ton of options for late night food. So I went ahead and gathered a list of late night food options that I had found and included them in my Calgary Eats Guide, linked below so you can go and check that out. A big reason people move to Calgary is to explore the outdoors. With such close proximity to the mountains, a day trip for hiking or exploring Banff and Canmore can be a weekly adventure, and it's year-round too. There are great spots for skiing and snowboarding, and it's all within like an hour to an hour and a half from the city. Calgary also has one of North America's largest urban pathway systems with more than 1,000 kilometers of trails. There's tons of parks, and it really is a clean and beautiful city. My favorite part, well, unfortunately, I work a lot on the weekends and I don't find myself out hiking and enjoying the mountains very often, but with the sunny, clear days we get, I can see the mountains from my house, and there's just something about stunning views like that on a regular basis. Well, that's it. That's Calgary, a city where you can thrive. So if you are ready for a new adventure, Calgary might just be calling your name. You can check out all my guides in the links below and book a call if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.